Hey everyone, I'm a huge nerd and I love all things photography. So let's talk about the new iPhone 17 Pro. I'd also like to say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I think are the most important parts and probably some other little bits of nonsense as well. This year, I went for the cosmic orange iPhone this year, mainly because they didn't release a black one, and then I thought, life's short, why not buy the most obnoxious color? So yeah, I think the dark blue one looks pretty cool, and I think the silver one just basically shows that you haven't got a personality, so orange for me. I also think the green tech woven case on the orange looks sick. One thing to mention before we dive into the cameras on the iPhone 17 Pro is that generally, when using this phone, it doesn't overheat and certainly doesn't get anywhere near as hot as the iPhone 16 Pro did. A few times last year, I'd be on Zoom or FaceTime or just in my car on a hot day and the 16 Pro would shut down because it was too hot. So whatever vapor chamber thingamajig is in this to stop it from overheating, it seems to be working. My favorite iPhone in recent years was the iPhone 13 Pro. That seemed to be the most complete and well-rounded and no-nonsense iPhone. Every iPhone I've had since then, there has been one or two things that just, But this feels like the iPhone 13 Pro again. This feels complete. It feels like we've got a good set of software, some good hardware, and I haven't experienced any bugs. So yeah, so far, this might be my favorite phone since the 13 Pro. Let's talk about the cameras. And for the very first time, I think I can confidently suggest to people that are interested in pursuing photography a little bit more seriously, or they're making content and they want to record things, or they're getting a camera for the first time in general. If you're not going to spend more money than the value of this phone, just get this phone. The small caveat to that is that if you would prefer to experience photography with an actual camera, I think there's some value in the more intentional, considered approach. When you head outside with a camera, your behavior is a little bit different. But if you just want to take photographs of day-to-day anything, then this is going to be more than enough. The first thing I want to say is that if you're shooting in 48 megapixel RAW and then editing your photographs with presets or using Lightroom or any editing app you like, I think you can get some truly outstanding results. And the Pro RAW files that this spits out are incredible. However, I have to be honest, if you're just shooting JPEGs, whether you use a brand new Google or Samsung or Xiaomi phone, I think it's negligible, and any phone that you buy that's a flagship model in 2025, it's gonna have a good camera, so it's really not that deep. The biggest camera upgrade by far is the selfie camera being a square sensor. This essentially just means that you can film horizontal or portrait content and take selfies horizontal or portrait without physically having to change the orientation of the phone. Now, I'm not a huge TikTok dancer or selfie taker, so I'm probably not going to see much benefit from this, but I know millions of people will. So this is a huge win, I think, and a square sensor on the iPhone, very convenient. Well done, Apple. Before we dive into the three main cameras on the back of the phone, I just want to share with you today's sponsor, Squarespace. As a creative of any kind, I do think it's important to have a space online that feels like yours. Something you can create and design for your own taste. Whether it's running a business or sharing a portfolio of photographs, I've personally been using Squarespace way before they even became sponsors on the channel. I've sold presets on my website, including iPhone presets if you're interested in that, but also books and camera straps, and Squarespace has been so easy from start to finish. So if you're interested in creating a website for yourself, why not start a free trial and see what you think? After that, when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/MikeChudley to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Let's get back to the video. The three cameras on the back of the phone are all 48 megapixels. That's the ultra wide, wide, and telephoto. In short, the only difference between this phone and last year's phone is that the telephoto has been upgraded. The actual wide and ultra wide lenses on this are the exact same as they were in the iPhone 15 Pro, so they've been the same for 2 consecutive years. However, this year the telephoto is up to date, and I've noticed a little bit of an upgrade in that as well. I've been taking photographs much more at ×4, which is about 100mm focal length equivalent, and I'm loving it. So if you're coming from an iPhone 15 or 16, I don't think it's worth the upgrade, but if you're coming from the 14 or previous, then all of the cameras will be an upgrade for you. So just worth mentioning. Maybe I should also add to that if your current phone's battery life is pretty poor, or your phone is acting slow in general, then upgrading to the newest phone, you will obviously see the improvement. The battery life in this is pretty good, but it's obviously not perfect. So depending on how you use the phone will depend how much it drains. But speaking strictly from a camera perspective, if you have the 15 Pro or the 16 Pro, I don't think you're gonna see much difference. If you have a previous model of phone, I think you will. The camera button this year on the side of the phone still sucks. It just gets in the way. I thought it would have been useful when I first saw it announced on the 16 Pro, but this is now the second year of using it, and when I'm taking a photograph, especially if I'm holding my phone like this, my thumb just accidentally touches it and knocks it all the time. It just gets in the way, and I've not heard anyone say anything positive about the camera button on the side of this phone. The only thing that it's somewhat useful for is to map it to open up your favorite camera app. So I have mine to open up the Blackmagic camera app, and it works perfectly. Other than that, it just gets in the way. Some photo apps worth mentioning that I can recommend is, first of all, Lightroom. Now, Lightroom is obviously perhaps seen as the gold standard. I use it to edit all of my photographs taken on professional cameras and also my phone. I will happily transfer the raw photographs from my phone over to my desktop and then edit the phone photographs on a bigger screen. But mobile Lightroom, or Lightroom Mobile, is still very effective. I also use Afterlight. Now, Afterlight is a very fun little editor. Now, it has a lot of features in there which you can dive in and have a look at, but the main reason I use Afterlight is to add the white borders and framing to some of my photographs. And I use that especially if I'm posting a carousel or something on Instagram. I like to throw a few borders on my photographs using Afterlight. And then the third thing I can recommend, which I've been loving, is the Leica Lux app. Within this app, you can choose between different Leica lenses from wide, standard, and telephoto lenses, and it will simulate how those lenses look onto your iPhone camera. You can also choose between a bunch of Leica profiles as well, which I think are some of the nicest built-in looks that you can get on a phone. So yeah, I've been enjoying the Leica Lux app, and I even added it to my home screen, so when I want to take a photograph, it opens up the Leica app instead of the standard iPhone app, and I can choose between 28 Summer Lux, 35 Summer Lux, or the 50 Noctilux lens. This might be getting extremely nerdy if you're not into your photography that much, but the Leica Lux app is very fun, so check that out as well. I think this is one of the most complete and well-rounded iPhones we've had in many years. And if you're interested in the presets I've used to edit my photographs, then a link is in the description as well. I very much appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.